Good morning, students. This is Arindam Bagh here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And this presentation is a continuation to my earlier one, which I already uploaded, which is under processing actually. And today it's 21 October, 21st October. So, without wasting any time, let me tell you again, as I do the formality over here. This presentation is not created by me, it is created by some other people. Their name is given here in this, in the end of this slide. You can see here they are. These are the people who actually created these visuals. So let's start our lesson today. And we have covered till here 19 to 24. Now today we are going to deal with the next part, which will be 24 to 32. So what you got here? So in the earlier section we have found that Ulysses is not interested to spend his life in idleness. Rather, he wants to remain active, and he do not consider just breathing over here is not a life, rather a life full of activity, a life which is spent in pursuit of knowledge or in exploration is actually real life. So let's move to line number 24 to 32. Life piled on life. In the previous section also it in the previous lines, that means right in here, I would like to remind you here, to rust unborn is not to shine and use, although to breathe well life. So next is life piled on life, where all too little, and of one to me little remains. So in pursuit of knowledge, if we spend our life in the pursuance of knowledge, then a single life is not enough. And I will give you a broad explanation over it through lecture method. Till here, life piled on life, where all too little, and of one to me little remains, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence, sometimes more, a bringer of new things. Now I'll be explaining this particular part. Now before I do that, let me tell you something about the annotations which you find here. So in this particular sections, you can see the blue lines. Every hour is saved from that eternal silence, sometime more, a bringer of new things. So let me explain that one. Each additional hour that I live, or each hour that I am saved from the death, brings me new experiences. The more he lives, the more experience he gains. So what do you have here? Life piled on life, till this a bringer of new things. This particular lines, it has a specific explanation. Ulysses has traveled much. He has seen many cities and been acquainted with customs, conventions, and forms of governments of many nations. Indeed, he has gained much knowledge and experience. Still, he is not satisfied, because all the knowledge he has acquired, let him see that there are vast fields of knowledge that have hitherto not been explored. The more you learn, actually, the more you realize that how ignorant you are. So the idea of knowledge, the universe of knowledge is so vast. The more we learn, the more we realize that there are so many things we are not aware of. So it's been like a ocean, more than an ocean. So that's why he says he has acquired, lets him see that there are vast fields of knowledge that have hitherto not been explored. So it will be foolish on his part to cease from exploring the unexplored and knowing the unknown. Life doesn't mean mere breathing, being alive. If you are just breathing right now, we cannot call that life. A person who is in ventilator in the intensive care unit of any hospital, he is living, he is alive. But can we call that life, even during this pandemic, what we are going to do? We are staying in our place. I am recording my lecture over here and providing you. But obviously, it cannot be it will not be the same like the live interaction which we had earlier in our classes. Yeah, we are alive right now, we are active right now, but still, the main idea of moving around, exploring things from first hand, we are missing that. Life means activity and motion. Knowledge is limitless. Truly, there is no limit. Lives piled on lives are not sufficient for knowing all that there is to be known and seeing all that there is to be seen. Ulysses is given only one life. That's why he says that uh, life piled on life were all too little, and of one to me little remains. The only life he got, it has only little remaining. He's getting old now. Ulysses is given only one life, and only a few years of this life remain to be lived. So he should not rest on his oars. Oars means, যেটাকে আমরা নৌকা দাঁড় বলি, oars. Time is moving. Time is moving man fast to death. Every second passed away, every moment passed away, we are getting close to our annihilation, to our death. So he should not waste away a single hour in inactivity, because every hour spent in inactivity is something snatched from the jaws of death. The more we keep ourselves busy, obviously in some positive way, the more we will gain knowledge. If we sit idly, then we will also die. Even a person who is active, he will also die. But the difference is how you spend your life before the death. Moreover, an hour devoted to activity may bring him new knowledge and may enable him to explore new things. Ulysses here embodies the modern passion for knowledge, for the exploration of its limitless fields, for the annexation of new kingdom of science and thought. So this is the part which I explained. Now we are moving to the next part, which is, and while it were for some 3 sons to store and hoard myself, this grey spirit yearning in desire to follow knowledge like a sinking star beyond the utmost bound of human thought. Now this is also a nice representation. Also you can see some beautiful rhetorics has been used to store and hoard myself. This is also a metaphor. He would be like an animal. If he stays in Ithaca, he will lose. He do not consider himself, or rather he considered the life in Ithaca is more like he compared his life with animals who just store and hoard. And then you have this, to follow knowledge like a sinking star. This is a beautiful example of metaphor. So this is a beautiful example of simile, actually. My bad. So I often quote this line. So why this is a metaphor, why this is a simile? Because you can see the explicit use of like, the word like, the comparison between two unallied object here, knowledge and sinking star, which has been compared over with which has been done explicitly, not implicitly, explicitly, by the use of like. That's why it is a fine example of simile. So Ulysses is like the sinking star, and the knowledge he is seeking is like the sinking star. Both of them, the knowledge is like a sinking star who he wants to follow, but he won't be able to reach that part. And that's why knowledge and sinking star, they're two different things in their kind, but they were compared directly. And there was a grey spirit. Now this grey spirit, it has some explanation over here. And grey spirit, you can understand that when grey, the color appears in our mind, that definitely it gives us an idea of old age. So grey spirit means the spirit of an old man. Now what he got here also, um, old man near the end of his life. Definitely a person who is old enough, he will be close enough to death now. Ulysses himself could be the sinking star. He is a great personality who is moving closer to death. Yeah, that could be a very nice explanation also, because he considered himself to be a sinking star. His days are over. He's going to die. And then another explanation, we got this in the right hand side of our slide. Ulysses wants to chase after knowledge and try to catch it as it sinks like a star. So that is also. Now today, this part I will also explain this one till the sinking star, which will start from and while it were. Before I start, while, what is the meaning of while? While means base. While means base. Then another word I would like to explain here. Uh, uh, Eternal silence. Eternal silence, I should have explained that one earlier. Death, that means death. So this one also we have this, don't follow knowledge like a being. Okay, so let's move to the explanation part. Ulysses says that knowledge is limitless. It's obviously lives piled on lives are not sufficient for knowing the unknown and seeing the unseen and exploring the unexplored. He is given only one life, and only a few years of this life remain to be lived. So he cannot rest from travel and exploration and live a life of comfort and ease at home, administering unequal laws among his savage subjects, means citizens. He feels that time is moving fast and he will soon die. So he should not waste away a single hour in inactivity, because every hour spent in activity, every hour spent in activity, not inactivity, in activity, is something saved from the jaws of death, something that will bring him new experience and give him new knowledge. It will be an act of baseness of his part to live a life of inactivity for some 3 years, so that his life has in store for him, storing and hoarding wealth for his son. That's what the majority people do. While his mind burns with the desire to pursue knowledge beyond the farthest horizon of human thought, in the same manner as an explorer might follow a star that has set in his own sky into another. Ulysses here embodies the modern passion for knowledge, for the exploration of its limitless fields, for the annexation of new kingdom of science and thought, which was very much the true Victorian spirit. I told you before I started this class, I told you that this is the true Victorian spirit, which was after the exploration of the new world, which was after the exploration of new knowledge. Now that will be all for this stanza. Now let me tell you something. These three sons means here 3 years. I forget to tell you that one, that's why I mentioned here. Now lines 24 to 32, we have this explanation. Ulysses continues to radiate a desire for adventure, claiming that even multiple lifetimes would not be enough for him to do all the things he wants. At this point, though he is an old man, a grey spirit near the end of his life, and he wants to make the most of what's left. It's a waste of time for him to hang out in Ithaca for 3 years when his desire for adventure is still alive. He spent 3 years already in Ithaca. The phrase, but every hour is saved from that eternal silence, something more, a bringer of new things, is strange. It means something like each additional hour that I live, or each hour that I am saved from death brings me new experiences. Now here again, 3 sun doesn't mean 3 days, rather 3 years. The phrase follow knowledge like a sinking star is ambiguous. Obviously, on the one hand, Ulysses wants to chase after knowledge and try to catch it as it sinks like a star. On the other hand, Ulysses himself could be the sinking star. That makes sense too. He is a great personality who is moving closer to death. So thank you again for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope it will be useful for you. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you again. Goodbye.